Sometimes we need to be alone to grow. It's really important during your awakening, during times of hardship, during times of transformation, to spend some alone time. During my awakening, I took some time off. I deleted social media and I wouldn't hang out with my friends. I would focus during that time on myself. There's things you need to process. There's answers that you need to receive. And if you're always stimulated, always doing something in the external world, you're distracting yourself and you're cutting that receptivity to allowing those answers and those perception changes to come to you. Now, I was fortunate to have quarantine happen when it did. My awakening started in 2017, and I had begun changing towards midway 2017 and 2018. That's when I really started to start deleting social media. It's when I found out of the subconscious and how the subconscious retains everything. So before you sleep and right when you awaken, that's when it's most active. That's when those alpha brain waves are the most active. And when those are active, it retains everything that comes in. So if you start your day off by turning on your phone or checking your phone, better said, and it's social media, you're just programming yourself. You have less control as to what you're putting in your subconscious. It's just whatever pops up in your feed. If it's a really negative thing, news article or gossip, that's how you're starting your day. If you're looking at it right before you sleep, that's how you're ending your night. So that's why I deleted social media during this alone time that I gave myself. It started like that, and then comes 2020 quarantine, and I decided to delete social media. I didn't delete my accounts. The only account that I did delete was Twitter, just because it was really toxic, and I felt that it wasn't aligned with what I was becoming, with the empowerment that I was having. So I did delete that one, but the rest I kept the accounts, but I deleted the apps, and they remained deleted for about 2 years. During this time, you can say I was alone. I wasn't really going out much with my friends, like I said. What I was spending my time doing was reading a lot. A lot of spiritual texts, Ask and It's Given by Abraham, Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins, Levels of Energy. I was finding out of many things, and it was clicking. Things were beginning to click. And I was allowing myself to be receptive and giving me the time to really focus on myself. As cliche as it might sound, you need to give yourself some time to focus on yourself. That's why I meditate every day for at least 10 to 20 minutes. That's my own time, my alone time, you could say. My time when I process things, when I really see what's in me, because your interior reality is what creates your exterior reality. And if your exterior reality is messy, it's because something internal is messy. So don't go out to the mess to try to figure it all out. You need to kind of rebuild yourself. So you need to go back inside and take a break from that canvas you have created, which is the story of your life that you're experiencing, maybe friends that you have, things or activities, habits that you spend your time doing that might be messy. The best thing to do is to have some time for yourself, some alone time, and to rebuild, to reconstruct. It's really good to take a break from all those things. You don't have to cut them off forever. And now there's some of the activities that you have in your reality right now that are serving you very well. Either way, some alone time will help you really clarify what's functioning for you and what isn't. You'll come to notice that in your alone time, you feel better than when you're with certain people or doing certain activities. And that's when breakthroughs start happening. That's when when you'll have that clear insight as to how you need to approach life, what you need to cut, what you need to incorporate into your life. Your brain, your body, your being is very intelligent. Everything is a habit. The people we are connected with because of the memories and the emotions that kind of tie us together. Say if two people gossip a lot about celebrities and they meet each other and become friends through that emotional attachment of kind of making fun of celebrities or gossiping about it, that's what ties them together. So when one of those friends starts kind of, you could say, empowering their life, or they realize that gossip isn't really constructive and they change their ways, it's going to cause tension between the two. And that's painful for both of them. It's a change, and the change, especially in the lower levels of consciousness before awakening, it's very scary. We want things to remain as they are. We have a picture of how the world is, and we don't want to break it down at all. In my awakening in 2017, this is what happened. I had a picture of the world. I was raised very religiously, and that reality kind of collapsed down when I had my bad trip. And it was really painful. So things hurt when they change, especially in the lower levels of consciousness. Because our lower self is afraid of the unknown. But when we begin to empower ourselves, you'll come to realize and see that the unknown is actually exciting, because there's infinite possibilities in the unknown. Quantum physics is showing this, that there is so much possibilities, in an infinite number of possibilities, that you just need to tap into. But for those experiences to come to you, you need to kind of step into the unknown. You need to be comfortable with the unknown, because if you're doing the same routine actions, there is no space for a new possibility to happen. It gets very basic. In order for something new to happen, you need to start doing something new, whether that's a new thought pattern, a new action that you do, something new in general. And they go together. The new thoughts usually cause the new actions, which cause the new emotions. They're all intertwined together. And during this alone time, you'll come to find the clarity as to what things you want to change. Some good questions are, what qualities does that future me have? How does that person carry themselves? How does he or she feel? What activities do they do? And visualize it and think about it. And start becoming it. Every single second is a new opportunity. Time is simultaneous. You can become that person starting now. That possibility is already there. It already exists. All that is, the universe, the entire galaxy, you could say, God, it always has been. It has no end nor no beginning. It's always been, and it contains all possibilities, all potentials, all experiences. So it's there. You just need to connect to it and start becoming it. Now, how do you start becoming it? You spend that alone time. You do meditations. At least that's what helped me. You form a clear picture of who you want to become, what you want to do, and you start implementing the action to do it. And you have a very strong faith in the universe, an unshakable faith that it will come about. And you allow there to be space for the unknown to happen. You don't form a picture as to when, where, or how the ideal version of you is going to happen, or the experience that you want to have is going to happen, but you allow there to be kind of a mystery, a surprise aspect to it. Be playful with it. And when you do this, you'll be very surprised. I remember in 2020, I was manifesting abundance. This is when I first started finding out of manifesting. I started listening to affirmations at night on abundance and on reprogramming my mind to more positive feelings. And that year, in the beginning of the year, I wrote down, I want to have 20K in my bank account by the end of the year. At that moment, I was kind of playful about it. I did not know how it was going to happen. Come October, through many synchronicities, I didn't have 20K in my bank account, but I had 24K in my bank account, or some number like that. But it was more than 20K. And I look back on how it happened, and I'm like, man, I did not expect it to happen this way, but this is amazing, you know? And the books that I was reading on that time, especially the Abraham ones, kind of made it really clear why it is that I received what I did. I was playful about it. I had no resistance about it because I just wrote it down and I let it go. At the time, finances were flowing in pretty good to me. I was working as a banquet server and I was just in a place of feeling good financially. So I was flowing and I was allowing. And through that clear channel of receptivity, I allowed that window to come into me, that window of abundance, to that possibility to just flow in. And it did. And it was simple, but what was needed was that receptivity to be there. And for that receptivity to be there, I needed that alone time. Like I said, if you're constantly stimulated, doing things, always doing things, you're not going to be able to focus on what you want to really do or find yourself. Think about sleep. If you're a bodybuilder, you could say, or an athlete, someone just building their body, if you're constantly working out like the whole day and you're not allowing time for rest or for sleep, which you could call your alone time, it's not going to function. You need the rest just as much as you need the action. Now there's seasons of more action and there's seasons of more rest, but your intuition will let you know about that. And with your alone time, you'll know about that. And now there's a negative connotation with being alone. A lot of people might be scared of it. They're like, oh, well, being alone is scary. It's just me with my thoughts and it's in a dark place. The more you keep denying your alone time and the more you keep affirming that, it's going to be a reality. And the more that gap is going to grow. And the scarier it is to deal with yourself. And then what's going to happen is a crisis is going to happen, or a midlife crisis is going to happen that's going to force you to deal with those unaddressed traumas, you could say, and just things that you got going on in you because you feel that life isn't fulfilling. You know that you could be more. It's like a splinter. You feel the splinter in you. Now, I felt this when I had my crippling anxiety. It was like a splinter always. I wanted to do something, but it was kind of like, I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't, because of that fear. It was paralyzing. It was a splinter. But when I started having that alone time, started doing those meditations, started reading those profound books, empowering books, started changing my habits, taking care of my fitness, changing the way I ate, everything began to change. That splinter started to leave. Sometimes many splinters that I had in me had already left, and I'd be like, whoa, like I didn't even deliberately focus on it, but that's just part of it. When you're growing, when you're doing these meditations, when you're empowering yourself, a lot of past traumas may leave without your recognition of them. And then you might be in a position where you might have been scared before. An example is, say you were afraid of heights. Come a height, you're at the height and you notice that you're very high in the sky. You might be in a 2-story building or something, but you're there looking down and you're like, wow, I used to be terrified at this, and look at me now. I feel normal. I have really been experiencing that lately with my past anxieties of certain things. I go to a certain place or I do a certain action and I notice that I'm not fearful. I'm not paralyzed, better said. Fear might be there in a certain situation because fear is normal. It's not bad. It's an emotion. But you got to be the awareness. Don't identify with the emotion, but be aware of it. Like 2 days ago, actually, I witnessed a a car accident. And I felt that rush of adrenaline and fear rush into me. I came out of my car and I was there to help, and I even felt my legs kind of shaking, but I was aware of how that emotion was running there. And because I was aware of it, I was able to accept it and take action. I wasn't paralyzed by it. And I used that energy rather than be stuck in the anxiety of it. I used that energy to do something out of that situation and to help others out. So, like I said, your emotions are not bad. Energy is just energy. It depends where you channel it and where you transmute it. Alone time is probably the best thing you can do. I love my alone time. The more you're going to keep awakening, the more you will appreciate your alone time. Now, I appreciate my time with others as well too. Like I said, everything is a balance. You can't also be alone forever. You have to incorporate both. But there is seasons to be more alone. Like I said, back from 2017 to 2021, I might say, a lot of alone time for me, a lot of introspection, a lot of changing my habits, a restart. You need to allow it to settle in. Give yourself that stillness. Let yourself go through that storm. Even if there's a lot of trauma in you, let yourself go through it. Let yourself find out what's buried deep in you. And trust the universe. Trust God. Trust Source. It will never give you more than you cannot handle. Always know that. That was something beautiful I heard, which resonates deeply with me, because looking back at all the things I've gone through in my life, I do see now that I did have the courage and I did have the strength in that moment to go through what I did. And it was divine timing. And I see how some things had to happen later in my life because it would have been too overwhelming at a certain point in my life, at a certain version of my life. With higher levels of energy, with a higher consciousness, comes more potentials. By nature, when you're vibrating higher, you have more energy. A gamma wave, which they call the transcendental wave, brain wave. If you see it, it's very vibrant. It has a lot of energy in it. Think of your energy that way. With more energy comes more potential because you have more energy to do more action, to bring more potentials into your reality. Alone time. You'll receive the answers. Things are as they are right now, and they're well as they are, even if you might be going through something very overwhelming right now. It all has its time, and it all has its solution. Einstein said that in order to solve a question, you must reach a new state of consciousness. The person who asked the question was at a certain state of consciousness. Now, by default, that state of consciousness does not know the answer yet. So what's needed is a change in consciousness to come at the answer. Through your alone time, you will come at a change of consciousness and the answer will come. I wish you guys a beautiful present moment. As always, thank you. Comment of any things you guys might do in your alone time, any breakthroughs you guys might be having right now or have had in the past. Testimonials of your life. It's really empowering when someone shares their story and someone resonates with it. At least that was my situation when I found out of other people who had gone through what I had gone, like crippling anxiety or other things like that. So share your testimonial too if you want. Put a comment on the videos that you guys want to watch or a section of this video that you guys liked. I appreciate each and every one of you. As I said, have a beautiful present moment. Thank you.